So today I'm going to go back on the doors of the Mercedes. I'm unhappy. They are closing way too tight on the front of the door. I hope the light's not too bright, but I'll show you what I mean. It's the rubber here. It is. This is really squeezing tight here, and it makes the door not want to close, bounce back. And this is, I'll show you. So what you see now is it's deforming and trying to push the rubber, and it's really damaging it. And I don't think this is going to work for a very long time. So I have to try if I can get this triangular window frame moving back and setting it more correctly, and I can at the same time I can then do, well, actually this one is not that badly done, but again here it squeezes in the front, really squeezes, and if you go further back the window comes down. So I have to also move that one. I'm not happy with the way that is going. And I feel there's way too much tension on this, on the window, and also on this, on the rubber here, which is being pushed in. It's the same on the other side. So unfortunately, I will have to take apart the door again and look at how I'm going to do that, because what I remember, the thing has a screw, but it didn't seem to have that much movement, but I guess you can with shims. You should be able to do something there, because this isn't right. So oh, the light's kind of bright. So I'll take the door guard apart and I'll see what I can do. So I've taken door guard off, and now we have, I'll show you the rubber again. It's already pulling itself or pushing this out, and I put a lot of Vaseline on it, doesn't work. So it's too tight here, so it's too far forward. And I do have these are the two bolts that this triangle is fitted on the car with. So I guess if I bring it up, it will just get tighter. So it would actually bringing it down or moving it back, that would help. I don't think raising it here will help much, but we shall see. Well, I'm gonna undo them and try and set them, see if I can get some movement in there. And I did find some other information on getting the window guides set, that the window itself goes up more in a straight way, because it doesn't. On the other side, it's the driver's side is even. It's a lot worse. So, and I found a diagram, an explanation on where it shows the bolts that you have to undo, that will help you to set the angle of the window. So we shall see. I can show you that one of them is this one, and there's one in there, and there's one up there. Now I'm looking. I think it's mainly those three, because if we go in here, here should be, here's the guide. Yeah, that's difficult to see without any light there, but anyway, there's the rear guide, but of course, because this one doesn't run all the way up, it's a very short piece of guide. And the front one is a lot longer, and that you can set, or you can change in the bottom. There's a distance keeper that, whoops, tilts the window towards the car or back or from the car. But let's first try and get this little triangle window correctly set, if that works. And then we shall worry further. Okay, so looking at these holes, there is movement possible, and it's far to the front. So I should be able to move it back. Same here, the two lips, we can move this window back. Probably, this is attached to that. That's one piece, or at least it's connected. So I have to probably loosen the window so that the whole window can move back as well. And that's probably held in by the back guide or the rear guide. So the whole window, the whole assembly should be able to move back. I have to check online how to loosen everything so it can move, and then I can fasten those two holes. So move them back to the front of this hole. So move the whole assembly back. Anyway, that's what we're going to try. Okay, so what I ended up doing is putting one bolt in here, sort of tightening it loosely, and then hitting the window there, because it wanted to move back, but it just springs back to where it wants to be. And now I could move it almost to its furthest setting back. And if I close the door now, and I'll focus on the front seal here. See, now it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, because it does need to, but it's a much nicer fit. That's down there. Up here, I believe it's too loose. It's hitting it, and it's not hitting it. So I think I'm gonna put a shim under there, bringing this one up a little bit, getting it to close more tightly there. But I think one little shim, that should do it. And then it is onto adjusting the window itself. I want it to close. I don't want it to be too tight, and I definitely don't want it to be under stress the whole time when you're closing the window. So first I'll put one shim under here, bring this one up a little bit. I can find a thin enough one, and try it again. Let's see what it does now. You couldn't see what I was saying there, was I? So now it's that's a good fit. And now this one, I think that's a lot further back here, inwards. So I think I'm gonna get this one to go in further. So in other words, get the adjustment out. Yes. Move it like that. Good. Seems to seal, and it seems to close really easily. So let me tighten this. Okay, let me bring you in. So the bolt, the adjustment for the lower arm of the window guide, the front one, is here, and it has it's a bolt welded on the bracket. There's another nut for it to close it, stop forbidding it, and there's one on the inside, and there's the bolt on the outside. So there you set the frame on the top frame here into the rubber or further away from the rubber. So that's it. So there's the shim, one shim underneath, and that one is sort of put further back and pushed out of the lip. I have to see if I maybe have to glue this in, but that's for later concern. Let's now first tighten that triangle window up and then concentrate on the window itself, the way that goes up. And as I've undone this one, then there are two Allen heads in there. There's one in there, and there's one at the bottom with a little rubber cap capped off. Those two have loosened. They loosened the rear guide, but I don't think there's any adjustment there, but I'm just loosening them anyway. And then there's these two bolts here, and there's one there that can make and move the window itself. Oh yeah, and then there's this one, and those three, so that one, and that one, you should be able to set this window correctly. So I'm going to try and see if I can do it on moving it up, seeing that it fits correctly, and then tightening them all up, see where we are. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. I'm sort of understanding a little bit how this is adjusted. So let me take you with me. So the lower one we have here, it actually is movable. You can move to and fro, making the window come in and go out on the top. The tilt of the window to and fro is somewhat more difficult to adjust because there's play. After 50 years, there's play in the system itself, and I might, because I do see this one not only moves it in and out, but you can also move it to and fro. And if I move it back a little bit, the window is forced that way. And if I close it now, and it's a million times better. If I close the door, that isn't closed, but if I close the door now, the sound is better. The fitment is a lot better, although it still pulls out the rubber there, but the distance is correct. It falls in, or the window goes behind the rubber, and it really seals off nicely, almost all the way back. And then there's a little gap. So here it's sagging a little, and you can see that, because although the window is now further back, and now actually the seal that I put in there, which is a new seal, seals against the window, the glass, but it's still, as you can see, it's still correctly spaced here, and then it's sort of tiny bit goes to the back. And that means if I do the front one, the front runner, push the window back at the bottom. At the bottom. Yeah, it's not going to be at the bottom, of course. But anyway, push it back. Then hopefully this corner will come up like, what is it? 6 millimeters, I guess. So actually, both of them have a function. So the top one is also can move to and fro. If you move it that way, also the window will be moved that way from the bottom. In other words, the top will come in. And the same can be done with the bottom one. I have them all set now. I'm just gonna play a little bit with the window up and down because I'll show you. It closes really nice now, and it is a nice tight fit. It's a little bit tilted back, and I haven't raised the window all the way because then it sort of snags up there. But it's nice, and it's nice here. I wish I could move it back a little bit further because of this rubber being pulled out. But I think that's just the way it is. I'll probably clean it and glue it in there so it will become more of a correct fit. But this looks a lot better, and the door closes a lot better too. I'm happy. So I have to do it on the other side. The other side is a lot worse than this one is. So what I've learned from this side, I will apply on the other side. Okay, I just want to say, I now understand. So I'll show you this one here, and that one there are the two bump stops. So they're the two bump stops that will allow the window to get higher or lower. So now setting them, because I thought they were to do with the frame, but they actually, when you move the window up and it comes and it hits the two bump stops, that will set the window. So after adjusting them, getting the window to go up, adjusting the one, then seeing the window was a little bit down at the end, I loosened that one, go inside here, push it up, then tighten it, and now it's perfect. It's really a neat system. So I'll show you. Close the door. Closes nicely. The gap is perfect now. And it is really nice and tight. It closes all the way to the front. And this is all a perfect seal. I'm really happy. That one is done. Now I understand how it works. We'll move to the other side. Okay, well, I did the driver's door. There's a bigger issue, and I think it has to do with the mechanism itself. I repaired the teeth on the gear for the arm, but there's a lot of play on other items as well. I'm going to leave it as is. I've adjusted it as much as I could. I'll show you. So I've adjusted it. There is more of an overlap And that's because I've moved the triangle window to the rear, because now it's less, it pinches less there on the rubber, and it's nice and tight. But bringing the window back means that the glass goes back as well, and it is at an angle as well. It's not running nicely straight with the rubber behind. Yeah, that has to do with the regulator itself, unfortunately. But it's a lot better than it was, and it fits nicely now, and it fits against the rubber, so we don't have we won't have a gap or leakage, and it closes nice. That wasn't a full close though. Yeah, well, closes nice like a vault, and now the rubber is nicely, or the glass is nicely tight in the rubber. So it's a lot better than it was. Not perfect. The other side is perfect, but we had a bigger issue on this side. And I guess mainly because this is also the side I had to repair. So this is the side that's been used the most, and there's more play on this. So now it's just a regulator, just in brackets. But that's for I guess for the next coming winter after the summer. Happy the way it is now. So I'm gonna put it back together and call it a day.